An AI agent that remembers everything isn't automatically smarter. It may be harder to trust because a giant archive is not memory. Memory is the policy that decides what gets saved, what gets replaced, and what returns at the exact moment it can change a decision. The obvious approach is to keep every message, every tool result, and every failed attempt, then paste the whole history into the next prompt. That works for a while. Then the useful detail becomes one bright square buried inside a wall of noise. A larger context window gives the model more room. It doesn't decide what deserves that room. Research on long contexts has repeatedly found that relevant information can become harder to use when it's buried in the middle. More capacity is useful. Selection is still the real problem. Here is the first boundary that makes the whole system easier to understand. A language model is normally stateless across calls. The agent around it creates continuity by maintaining a working state, calling tools, and reading from or writing to external memory. Working memory is the small active surface for the current decision, the goal, the latest observation, the partial plan, and any evidence needed right now. Long-term memory sits outside that surface. It can survive the end of a task, a conversation, or an entire session. And long-term memory isn't one undifferentiated pile. The CoALA framework separates episodic memory, semantic memory, and procedural memory. Those labels matter because each kind shouldn't be written, retrieved, and trusted in exactly the same way. Episodic memory stores experience. What happened, in what order, under which conditions, and with what result. For an agent, that might be a tool trajectory, a failed browser action, or a conversation from last week. Semantic memory stores knowledge, facts, preferences, relationships, and conclusions that can apply beyond one event. An episode says, "This attempt failed." A semantic memory says, "This site rejects that file type." One is the evidence, the other is the reusable lesson. Procedural memory stores ways of acting, rules, skills, prompts, or code that shape future behavior. It's powerful, but it's also the riskiest layer to modify automatically. Saving a fact is one thing. Rewriting the agent's own procedure is another. So how does an experience become a memory? It starts as a stream of raw observations, messages arrive, tools return data, plans change, errors appear. The memory system's first job is not storage, it's admission. A useful admission policy asks whether an observation is novel, important, reliable, and likely to matter again. Some systems also consider recency or the result of an action. The exact score can vary. The purpose doesn't. Ordinary noise shouldn't become permanent state. That means most events should disappear. A successful click with no new information may belong in the temporary trace, not the long-term store. A corrected address, a recurring preference, or a failure pattern may deserve a durable record. Accepted information is then encoded into a cleaner unit. The system may extract an event, a fact, a preference, or a reflection. A strong memory also keeps its source, timestamps, entity, scope, and permission boundary. Meaning without provenance is dangerously easy to misread. Many systems generate an embedding, a numeric representation that places related meanings near one another. That lets a later query find travel plans, even if the stored memory says book a train to Kyoto. The wording can change while the semantic neighborhood stays useful. But the embedding should not replace the evidence. It is a search key, not the memory's entire meaning. The raw source or a faithful chunk still matters when the agent needs exact dates, wording, or context that compression removed. The store can now expose several search surfaces at once: semantic similarity, exact keyword search, time, entities, graph relationships, and metadata filters. Hybrid retrieval is less elegant than one magical score. It is also much harder to fool with a single kind of mismatch. As memories accumulate, the system has to consolidate them. Near duplicates can merge. Repeated events can become a pattern. A set of episodes can produce a higher level reflection. That's where an archive starts behaving like a model of the agent's experience. But consolidation can't erase disagreement. If a user once preferred blue and now prefers green, the new memory should supersede the old one with time attached. Silently overwriting history destroys the evidence needed to understand when the change happened. This distinction is easy to miss. Writing a reflection into memory is not the same as retraining the language model. Systems such as Reflexion store textual lessons from feedback and retrieve them on later attempts. The behavior changes because the prompt changes, not because the model's weights changed. Now, the direction reverses. A new task arrives, and the agent has to decide what the past can contribute. It turns the current goal into a memory query, often adding entities, time constraints, or alternate wording that makes the search more precise. The first search produces candidates, not truth. Semantic search may find conceptually related memories. Keyword search may recover an exact name. Graph links may surface connected facts. Filters should remove the wrong user, project, time range, or permission scope before anything reaches the model. Then the candidates are ranked. A classic example from generative agents combines relevance, recency, and importance. Other systems use learned re-rankers, handwritten rules, or task-specific scores. Different mechanism, same responsibility, place the most decision-changing evidence first. Retrieval also needs a budget. Sending 50 plausible memories can be worse than sending 5 strong ones, because every extra item competes for attention inside working context. The system has to stop. Top K is not just an optimization, it is an attention policy. The selected memories are copied into working context. They are not removed from long-term storage. The archive persists, while a compact evidence bundle travels to the model for this one decision. That source-preserving copy is the heart of the mechanism. The model then reads the retrieved evidence alongside the current task and produces a plan, an answer, or a tool call. LongMemEval describes this as 3 stages: indexing, retrieval, and reading. A failure in any one of them can look like the agent forgot. Even perfect retrieval doesn't guarantee a correct answer. The model can ignore evidence, combine 2 memories incorrectly, or trust an obsolete item. That's why evaluation has to measure more than recall. It also needs temporal reasoning, knowledge updates, multi-session reasoning, and abstention. After the action, the loop can begin again. The result becomes a new observation. A successful strategy may strengthen an existing lesson. A failure may create a reflection, but feedback should pass through the same admission, provenance, and conflict checks as every other memory. And that's where memory becomes a safety problem. A stale preference can personalize the wrong behavior. A poisoned web page can become a durable instruction. A private detail can leak into the wrong task. Remembering bad information is often worse than forgetting it. A production memory system therefore needs permissions, provenance, deletion, expiry, conflict resolution, and a way to quarantine uncertain items. It should know when a memory was observed, when the described event happened, which source supports it, and who is allowed to retrieve it. It also needs the ability to say, "I don't have enough evidence." Long-term memory should make an agent more consistent, not more confident by default. When retrieval is weak or contradictory, the system shouldn't pretend that confidence came from somewhere. There's no single universal architecture here. Some systems manage fast and slow memory tiers, as MemGPT proposes. Some use vector databases, some add graphs, keyword indexes, summaries, or learned memory models. The engineering choices differ because the failure modes differ. Supermemory, the product that sparked this topic, currently describes a learning model paired with a temporal vector graph engine. Its documentation includes chunking, embeddings, indexing, relationship building, and time-aware updates. That's one implementation of the broader pattern, not the definition of agent memory. So the practical test is simple. If the task is one shot and the past should not affect the next decision, long-term memory may add cost and risk without much value. If continuity, personalization, or learning from prior outcomes matters, a memory lifecycle becomes essential. The intelligence is not the archive, it is the policy around the archive. What survives, what changes, what returns, and what the agent is allowed to trust. Build that policy well, and an agent can use the past without being trapped inside it.